Hey everybody, welcome to the new school year. So this year I'm trying something new because I found in years past that although I distribute my studio policy to everybody, a lot of people never get around to reading it. And I can kind of understand that because I myself prefer to listen, even to books, lectures, whatever. I like listening more than I like reading. So I'll bet there are others like that too. So this year I'm going to both video and make an audio recording of the studio policy to be more convenient to more people. Okay, so here we go. Studio Guidelines and Policy 2025 and 26. The goals are to create an environment where students can develop and retain a love of music and of piano, for students to experience music making as natural expression, for students to develop an extensive repertoire of many different musical styles, for students to express themselves through music and to generate their own music, for students to acquire a strong foundation in music theory and its practical application at the piano, and finally, for students to have a highly positive, self-affirming experience as they learn. The student's role is to commit to a long-term relationship with piano lessons, to record practice sessions in the Better Practice app. This helps students track their practice and plan future practice, to follow the teacher's instructions carefully, to maintain a consistent practice schedule. And I suggest at least 15 minutes per day, 5 days per week. And usually once you get to the piano, you'll do a little more than that, but at least 15 minutes per day. That should show good progress over time. The coach's role is to acquire the most inspiring instrument that your budget will allow and to maintain it properly. Acoustic pianos need to be tuned at least twice a year, and digital pianos need to have 88 weighted keys and 3 pedals. An inspiring instrument allows imagination to take flight and is so attractive and so inviting that students will want to practice. Another of the coach's roles is to meet financial commitments through the FON scheduling and payment website, to commit to weekly lesson attendance with the student. If the student is under 18, I'd like for the coach to be there so the coach knows what we're doing, can help at home. The coach also needs to commit to a long-term relationship with piano lessons, to monitor practice, and to offer support and encouragement, and to ensure that other family members are not a distraction at lessons or at home during practice time. Okay, let's talk a little more about practice. So the playlist is the heart of Simply Music and actually of all methods. You want to keep up what you have learned. And it's critical to keep all these pieces on the list alive so that you can call them forth at any moment. It's a great feeling to be able to play something if someone asks, or if you find yourself near a piano, just to be able to sit down and pull something out of your playlist. It's ideal to practice at the same time or times every day so that piano practice becomes routine. It's important to develop the habit of practicing, even if only briefly, immediately after your lesson so you can reinforce what was learned at that lesson. And to review practice instructions or tutorial videos within 24 hours of your lesson. Okay, let's talk about tuition. What you pay is tuition. It is not calculated as an hourly fee for services rendered because teaching is much more than the time we spend at lessons. Tuition also covers preparation, evaluation of lesson plans, consultation by phone and electronic media, creation of and access to tutorial videos, event planning and scheduling, organizing performances and seasonal activities, attending professional meetings and conferences, and my decades of experience in education and performance and practice. I mean, as a fellow practicer of piano. Okay, tuition is a flat monthly rate. This rate is calculated based on payments for 46 weeks of lessons a year made in 12 equal monthly installments. All months are charged the same regardless of the number of weeks in a given month. So that is to say months in which vacations or sick days occur or in which there are 5 weeks are still charged at the same rate. So it's something you can count on. Families should expect a yearly tuition increase corresponding to cost of living increases. So I always do this at the same percentage that the COLA, the cost of living allowance for Social Security, is calculated. And this year for 25-26, that rate is projected to be 2.7%. Tuition and fees are due at the first lesson of the month. A $10 late fee will be added after the 10th of the month. And if something unusual comes up, just contact me. We'll work something out. The tuition year is from September 1st, 2025 to August 31st, 2026. Tuition is due as normal during summer months. Time slots will not be held for students who do not pay for summer months. And I always have new people wanting to join the studio in the fall, so those students who have continued lessons over the summer will have their preference, first dibs at the time slots, and the new students will have whatever is left. Tuition is paid through the FONS scheduling and payment website app via bank draft or credit card, your choice. Shared lessons are $115 a month, and the length of those lessons differs depending on how many students are sharing that slot. So if there are 2 students, it's a 45-minute lesson. If there are 3 or 4 students, it's a 1-hour lesson. And I don't teach more than 3 or 4 students at once because that is the limit of what my space and studio allows in order to have a sufficient amount of time and attention for each student. Okay, private lessons, which are at the moment the majority of my students are private students. That is $135 a month for 30 minutes, $202 for 45 minutes, and $270 for 1 hour. Now, shared lessons generally produce faster and better results, and the Simply Music method does prefer shared lessons, but they're awfully hard to coordinate, and sometimes private lessons are the only option, and it's actually that way in my studio right now. But I'll make every attempt to place students in an appropriate shared lesson as early as possible, and at that time I'll adjust the fee to the shared lesson fee. Okay, holidays. There will be 4 built-in vacations this year. Thanksgiving, which is Monday, November the 24th, through Saturday, November the 29th. Christmas and New Year's will be Monday, the 22nd, through Wednesday, the 26th. I should say that I said that wrong. I'm sorry. Christmas, New Year. Let's start over. Monday, the 22nd of December, through Wednesday, the 7th of January, the year 2026. And spring break is Friday, March the 14th, through Tuesday, March the 24th. Labor Day and Memorial Day are also vacation days because most people are doing family events on those days. But I'll be in contact if for whatever reason I'm actually available on those days. But I know most of you will want to have those days off. All of these breaks allow us an opportunity to refresh, recharge, and return to lessons with renewed energy, enthusiasm, and focus. Materials and music. Simply Music home materials are purchased online by you through the Simply Music store. The cost is $35 to $45 per level, depending on the format, and siblings, of course, may share materials. Supplemental materials, such as the accompaniment program, vary in price, and they're introduced as lessons progress. We call these side streams. So there's the foundation stream, and then accompaniment, jazz, etc. are side streams, and not all students do all of them. New materials are needed approximately every 12 weeks or so. And non-Simply Music materials are also required now and again as study progresses. An example of this would be the sight reading short shorts, which I absolutely love. These are out of print now, but I have the permission of the publisher to print them out for students, and they're just a wonderful way to practice note reading for people who have just learned to read music. The annual cost is around, for all this stuff, maybe $150, $200 for the whole year. Then, as soon as students can read music, I require them to purchase a subscription to Sight Reading Factory, which is an online web-based program. And I think I pay about $45 a year for it. But for students, I can purchase student memberships for only $5 for the whole year. So I will then send you a code, charge you $5, and you're in. Okay, registration fee. There's a one-time annual $10 registration fee assessed in September each year or later for students joining later in the year. And if the year's half over, it'll be $5. And this fee covers my expenses for printing, piano parties, venue rental, refreshments, things like that. Okay, missed lessons. Space is reserved for each student with the understanding that we have an appointment at that time each week. I'll be there. If a student misses a lesson, he or she should check with classmates and consult the Better Practice app to find out what was covered. Remember, the Better Practice app has a library containing videos, audio recordings, music scores, and information sheets. And I actually have a YouTube channel also. A lot of materials there, lots of tutorials. Students have student home materials at students.simplymusic.com to help review what was covered at the lesson. There are also extensive resources available at SheerJoy Piano on YouTube, which I already mentioned. And if you are sick or there's a funeral or some unavoidable circumstance, I will certainly be willing to consider a makeup. I'm committed to attending every scheduled piano lesson. In the event that I need to cancel due to illness or travel, I'll make every attempt to reschedule those missed lessons. SheerJoy Piano Studio will once again be very full in 2025-26. I have people who've been waiting for months. I cannot guarantee that makeups will always be possible, but I'll do my best. But do remember that tuition is based on a 46-week year. So you actually get extra lessons if you attend every week. Please don't come to your lessons if you're ill. I'll consider offering a makeup lesson if I'm notified at least 4 hours in advance. I don't want you to be here if you're not feeling up to it. And I don't want to catch whatever you've got either. And we're all accustomed to remote lessons by now. And we can use a service of your choice, FaceTime, Discord, Zoom, WhatsApp, Messenger, whatever. If you're sick, but you're feeling well enough to do a remote lesson, we can certainly do that. Makeups will not be considered for any other reason and will be offered at my invitation only. And that's if I have an opening or a cancellation in my schedule, then I'll have a look and, see who has missed a lesson and who might be able to take the empty slot. And usually it's amazing how this stuff works out. Okay, non-illness related cancellations and no-shows will not be rescheduled. If a permanent conflict arises with the scheduled lesson time, just let me know and we'll work out something else. Okay, leave of absence or discontinuance. If the student will be absent for more than 4 consecutive weeks for summer vacation or whatever, a deposit in the amount of 1/2 of a month's tuition for each month of absence is required to reserve the lesson time. And that's so that you still have dibs on your first choice for the fall. And I want to explain the reason for that too, because once you hear this, it'll make perfect sense. If you are not coming for a month or 2 months, but you are coming back, I can't make that time available to another student because it's actually not available. It's your time. So it seems that half tuition is a good compromise. It's fair to both of us. Okay, if school classes are not held, such as teacher in service, inclement weather, etc., you'll generally still have your piano lesson. I mean, I keep my driveway shoveled and all that, but if the roads are impassable, we can do lessons remotely, or you can attend a different class. If you need to discontinue piano lessons for whatever reason, this stuff happens. Just let me know as soon as possible so I can offer that space to another student. And as a courtesy, I do request 30 days notice. Referrals, new students. It is a joy and a huge compliment if someone contacts me and they were referred by a current student. That means you're happy, and it makes me happy. So when you send new students my way, please remind them to tell me that you sent them. And after they officially join SheerJoy Piano Studio, I will express my gratitude by crediting your account $75 toward the next month's tuition. So that's it. That's the studio policy for the upcoming year. And I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you at your next lesson.